Hello, my name is Sam Powell and I am a rising senior at the University of Maryland. I am majoring in Geographical Information Systems and minoring in Statistics. The topic of this week was researching mountaintop mining and discovering the social, economic, and environmental impacts it has. Mountaintop mining is a form of surface mining that involves the removal of the summit or summit ridge of a mountain. Coal seams are extracted from the mountain by removing the land or overburden sediments above the seams. First, I will start with the social impacts of mountaintop mining. All of the excess sediments remaining from the blasts and digging are dumped into valleys and streams at the base of the mountain. As you can see by the photograph, the water becomes a metallic brown as it is ingrained with rocks, minerals, and leftover metals. Because of this irresponsible dumping, communities located near these sites experience highly toxic water levels. There are also deadly chemicals that travel through the air and cause higher chances of lung cancer, respiratory disease, heart attacks, heart disease, as well as an overall shorter lifespan. Falling rocks and boulders are also a threat to the people living near mountaintop mining sites. There have been several cases in the past of falling rocks killing children and demolishing homes. Tens of thousands of people are being forced to migrate because mountaintop mining has made their homes unlivable. Now for the economic impacts of mountaintop mining. There are constant explosions throughout each day at the sites, destroying thousands of pounds of rock. Boulders commonly fall off mountains, destroying homes, businesses, and any other buildings in their way. There is also the drilling and lack of reclamation that the people need to worry about. All of the soil that is compacted in the mountains becomes loose and unstable, so when it downpours, there's a high likelihood of flooding. Sometimes this can be more damaging than the boulders because of the surface area it covers and the mold it leaves behind. This is millions of dollars in damage that homeowners in these areas cannot afford because their most valuable asset is their home. These people risk their lives, money, and homes for less than 3% of the United States power source? That doesn't make sense. If we were to completely stop mountaintop mining tomorrow, not a single American would lose power because there's more than enough underground coal that can make up for the loss. Finally, the environmental impacts of mountaintop mining. Before mountaintop removal can begin, the vegetation and topsoil must be removed. Several acres containing natural plants, trees, and a rare biodiversity of animals are destroyed every day in order to accommodate the digging and explosions. They have tons of lumber that they choose to add to the waste rather than sell it to the lumber companies because the time it takes to prepare and deliver it is not worth the money compared to mining coal. Most of the lumber ends up discarded into the valleys and headwater streams of the mountain. The waterways become toxic, effectively destroying the organisms downriver or dwindling the population so low that the only species left are deformed and disabled. The mountain and its surrounding environment have become an old wasteland that cannot be home to any living thing. The government has regulations concerning the reclamation efforts of the mountaintop mining companies. However, most of them will petition for the area to be designated as economic development. Most of the time, this just means they plant exotic grass seed to cover the topsoil, ignoring the fact that native plants will now have more difficulty growing back, and the underlying soil is still weak and susceptible to flooding or even mudslides. I was very surprised by my research findings because I had no idea how many negative consequences were the direct result of mountaintop mining. There are scientifically proven facts that show more people are getting cancer, more people are getting respiratory disease, and the environment is being tortured, all for the smallest amount of fossil fuel energy. How do we justify this killing machine that produces little benefit? With money. The United States is known as one of the largest suppliers of coal in the entire world, so the government has the ability to bend laws and regulations to maximize profits and ignore the consequences. Finally, the green movement has the recognition it should have had so many years ago. The most important thing to remember is to constantly educate yourself and be aware of the consequences your decisions have. The responsibility of knowing important information about consumption does not solely rely on the consumer. The suppliers have to help because without their transparency, the public can never know the full truth. My perception of my electricity consumption has drastically changed. Every appliance, vehicle, and electronic I touch, I think about how much coal I'm using. Sometimes I will not even turn on the lights in the bathroom if I know I will only be there for a minute or two. Small behaviors like these are easy to change, but larger ones that happen every day, like showering or driving, are much more difficult. The map on this slide shows a large number of people losing years in their life expectancy due to mountaintop mining and its impacts. People do not realize the damage they are causing themselves just by living near one of these sites. This only happens because people need coal and the government needs money. Without people being informed about the consequences of their consumption, there cannot be a change for the people in the dark blue areas. I believe all suppliers should be required to be completely transparent with their marketing and labeling on their products. The consumer only has so much capacity to learn what they need to know about consumption. The rest relies on the producer. Money is what's driving them, and we are giving them that money. It is a dangerous cycle that needs to end, but only will with the help of everyone.